Hey there, so I'm making this video because I get a lot of questions about my dreadlocks. I know that my color is a little fucked up right now. It's because I have black dreads, and if I don't turn the brightness all the way up, then you pretty much can't ever see them in pictures or anything like that. So yeah, I go to cosmetology school, and I get a lot of questions about my dreads all the time, mostly because I think there are a lot of stereotypes out there about dreadlocks, and that they're dirty, or that they smell gross, or that they're full of wax and bugs and disgusting things like that. And so when people come up to me, they're like, oh, your dreads are so pretty, oh, they look so clean, are those extensions, you know, why don't you take them out? Yeah, I just want to talk about my dreads in particular. I naturally have very fine, very straight hair, and I don't have very high density, so my hair is a little on the thin side, which was one of the motivating factors of me getting dreadlocks in the first place, is because, you know, you shed like 70 hairs a day, and so if I could not lose that hair, my hair would then be big. It was also like a lesson in commitment for me. I spent probably 10 years thinking about getting them before I actually put them into my hair. I had the idea when I was 15 that I really wanted white blonde dreadlocks, but I couldn't stop shaving my head and dyeing my hair all colors of the rainbow because I'm very impulsive, and so it was, you know, it was a long hard road of, okay, I'm not gonna dye my hair all the time, okay, I'm not gonna shave my head all the time, and eventually I'm gonna get some length so that I can actually start them. And one of the concerns that I had when I started was that your scalp kind of goes into shock from not having as much stimulation and not being washed as frequently, that it gets a disgusting buildup and stuff like that. And so before I had put them in, I had already reduced my washing so that my scalp was no longer overproducing oil, to compensate for the fact that I was washing all of the oil and stripping all of the oil out of my hair all of the time. And so I reduced my washings, and then I also stopped brushing my hair as frequently. I'm lucky in the sense that my hair is the type where I don't necessarily need to brush it. Even when it's long, I can kind of just run my fingers through it and the tangles will come out, and it's not really a problem. But yeah, so I had reduced, so by the time that I'd actually put the dreads in my hair, it wasn't very shocking to my scalp, and I didn't really have any of those problems, the buildup or the oil or anything like that. I had read on the internet that a lot of people shampooed their hair with Dr. Bronner's, and I already used Dr. Bronner's for everywhere else on my body. Why not shampoo also? It seemed like a logical, you know, thing to do, and it smelled nice, and that was great. And it was fine, I guess, at first, but you could tell that my hair started getting a dull appearance, that it was no longer shiny. And at one point when I actually took a comb to it and was combing through my long hair, I looked at the comb and I could see like a film that was coming off of my hair. So Dr. Bronner's is not a residue-free shampoo at all. It actually has quite a bit of residue, and that was really disgusting to me. So when I actually put my dreads in, I went ahead and I purchased the Dread Head shampoo, and I actually love it a lot. It's unscented, it doesn't leave any residues as far as I can tell, it keeps my locks tight, and I mean, it's great. I can get a giant vat of it for like 60 bucks, and I really like that a lot. So I mean, you're welcome to use whatever you want. That was my personal findings in my journey. When I started my dreads, I started with the back comb method. Had I known what I know now, I probably would have done with the twist and rip method, because I find that that's much more effective at making tight knots. When I was back combing, you know, for the first couple of weeks, everything falls out, and so you just kind of go back through and you kind of do it again. And what I discovered was twisting and ripping my ends kept my dreads from really falling out. And so I would always play with them and twist and rip the ends before I ended up combing out like the last 8 to 10 inches. The other thing that I did was that, you know, you read that you aren't going to have anything that really looks like a dread for a year, and you kind of just have to deal with the fact that you have, you know, ugly hair for a little while. And I didn't want that. I wanted hair that looked like dreads. And so I did crochet for the first, I would say, maybe 4 to 6 months before it gets to that like really loopy phase of locking up. I was crocheting them, and it was fine, I guess. I have dreads because I don't want to maintain them. So the idea of spending hundreds of hours crocheting my dreads to death, I mean, one, I think it looks different, and if that's your thing, by all means. I don't really like the way that crocheted locks look. And so yeah, so now my dreads are, you know, they come out like a dread, and I don't crochet them or anything like that. They just, the only maintenance that I do is that I shampoo my hair, I shampoo my dreads weekly, but I shampoo my bangs and the stuff closest to my face because it, you know, gets more oily more quickly daily every time I shower. And you can also see my ends. I decided at one point that I really liked wispy ends, so I was going to comb them out, and then I kind of was thinking for a while, because I'm very commitment phobic, that I might like comb out all of my hair. And so I did about 8 to 10 inches and decided that I kind of liked the half and half look. And so sometimes I run a tiny bit of conditioner just through the ends to keep those looking soft and nicer. And besides that, just, you know, occasionally ripping apart my roots. As they come in, you know, they grow together a little bit and stuff like that, so you just take 2 and rip them apart. And that's about it for maintenance. The only other tip that I have is that I use a satin pillowcase when I sleep at night, because then my hair isn't rubbing against other fabrics and like pulling the little tiny hairs out. Instead, the only thing my hair has to rub against is itself, which keeps my roots tight and not really full of flyaways or craziness or anything like that. And so I don't ever have to crochet my roots or fuck with them very much. So yeah, now I have these little baby dreads, 1 day old, 3 year and 2 month old, and this is my first thing that I've ever put in there. I'm kind of like a purist. I don't really like having shit in my hair. And I had 2 dreads that I actually combed out. These were 2 of my biggest dreads that I had, and of course I lost a lot of hair in the combing out process, but it can be done. You can absolutely pick those dreads out, as long as you haven't used wax or anything that's like gonna glue your hair together. You know, it's just hair, and so you can still just take it out. And of course it dried wet, so it's a little wavy right now, but there's my hair. Before I cut the end, it was actually down to my waist, so that's quite a bit of growth. Yeah. Bye everyone, thanks for watching our dreadlock video. Bye. Who says goodbye? Oh, thank you for those kisses back. Oh, this good boy. Look at that pretty baby.